Your Royal Highness, ladies and gentlemen, as Alexandra said, I grew up in Tensta, an area in the northwest of Stockholm. That is where I went to school, made friends, learned how to ride a bike, and played football. In recent decades, Tensta has become quite infamous. In the media, it's often portrayed as a segregated, poor, and dominated by criminal groups and religious fanatics. That is not my perception of Tensta, at least not my only perception of Tensta. The vast majority of the kids I grew up with live what you might call ordinary lives. Some of them live extraordinary lives. One of my former classmates has become a famous pop star. One is a surgeon, and one travels the world as an engineer. For a long time, I thought that Tensta is the place where I'm supposed to live. I was what you might call a local patriot, and I refused to fall for the negative picture often cabled out. So I didn't leave, until I did. And the reason was as simple as it is sad. I too got tired of not feeling safe when coming home at night. And to this day, I don't really know if that fear was well-founded or simply the result of having heard one too many negative stories. But what I do know is this: segregation hurts people. I've seen what happened to some of my childhood friends, and it's been painful to say the least. They've fallen victim to drug abuse, gone to prison. They've taken paths in life which has led to harm and destruction, both to themselves and to others. And even though they are the exception, even though most of my childhood friends do still live their ordinary lives, every child who grows up and becomes a robber or worse is one too many. And even as a child, I realized that some of my childhood friends wouldn't have the means to make the right choices in life. I think you can imagine what happens in an area where only half of the grown-ups have a job, where only 1 of 10 of the kids participate in sports association, where 1 in 5 doesn't have the grades to get into high school. I felt that the hardship they experienced early on in life would have dire consequences for some of them. And so I anxiously awaited the day that I would turn 13 and be able to become a member of the Swedish Social Democratic Youth League, so that I could join the movement for a more just and equal society. And 14 years later, I became the Vice Mayor of Stockholm, and in 2015, we established the Commission for a Socially Sustainable Stockholm. Because the situation was urgent. Segregation had increased immensely in the city over recent decades. And to get a clearer picture, the Commission's first task was to survey and map what the situation in the city really looked like. And in the Commission's first report, Inequality in Stockholm, we could all see clearly just how bad it is. Between 1991 and 2012, average income level in Stockholm almost doubled. In the inner city, it increased by 64%, but in the suburb of Skärholmen, only by 1%. This means that the average income in Skärholmen has actually decreased and that people have become poorer. To take Tensta as an example again, 1/3 of the families with children today live beneath the child poverty limit. The average income for families with children is 170,000 kronas below the city average. This inequality also creeps into the mouth of children. In Rinkeby, more than every 10th 3-year-old have caries. In the central part of Stockholm, this is true for less than 1%. With all this in mind, the Commission for Socially Sustainable Stockholm now works closely with researchers to develop concrete actions on how to decrease inequality and give every child that grows up in our city a fair chance in life. And it is a tough job, but it is not rocket science. It is about giving people the opportunity to get a job and earn a living. It's about giving every child a real chance to get through school with passing grades. And it's about making sure that people can access affordable housing. And there are also positive trends. Take Skärholmen again, where the income levels had only increased by 1%. Here, unemployment has vastly decreased over the last 3 years. Among young people, unemployment has gone down by almost half. And this positive trend can be seen in other segregated areas of Stockholm as well, even in Tensta. And I believe that this development can be traced back to the generally positive economic situation in Sweden, but also to hard work and outreach to those people that are far from the labor market. We have made especially hard efforts to reach more young people and capture their potential before they fall into hopelessness. But as I said, it is hard work, and we still have a long way to go. The bright point is that hardship can also bring people closer together. We see a fantastic and growing commitment among citizens in Tensta, as well as in Rinkeby and Husby and other areas in our city. And I have good faith that if all these good forces work together, we can create a Stockholm for everyone, so that I can once more be unambiguously proud to be a Tensta girl.